If you are fed up with Shou-Lao, I've got 3 decks that don't run Shou-Lao and have a great matchup into them. Let's dive into the full guide right now.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Kicker of Elves here. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day wherever you're at. And if you're like me or many people, you're probably sick of Shou-Lao the Undying. This exact 12 card list over here has been just an absolute menace on the ladder, amplified by its tournament winning status. And today I've got 3 different decks that all have great matchups into Shou-Lao and do not feature the card itself. So, real quick, what this deck is trying to do, if you by chance haven't run into it, is put a bunch of power from Shou-Lao onto either Maverick or Scarlet Spider, pop off with a bunch of Scarlet Spiders, or even just 2 giant 20 powered Scarlet Spiders or more with Jocasta, and just take over the board that way. It's a very different play pattern from what we're used to, and it's been a menace to deal with. But worry not, we've got a couple of really great decks that I'm going to do a quick rundown of and explain just why they have such a good matchup into Shou-Lao. Let's dive right into it. First deck on the menu is a great combination between a Galactus game plan and a Man Spider huge card go over the top of this game plan. So why does this deck have a good matchup into Shou-Lao? 2 main reasons. Both game plans counter a big weakness that Shou-Lao has to offer. Shou-Lao is able to spread a very respectable amount of power kind of unpredictably across both boards, but its interaction is not really equipped to deal with a giant Man Spider and a giant Taskmaster, especially when you're able to conceal it to the final turn of the game. Spoken plainly, Man Spider Taskmaster goes over the top of anything that Shou-Lao is trying to do. Additionally, Shou-Lao is often either throwing priority or waiting until the final turn of the game to put Shou-Lao's power buff onto Scarlet Spider and then activate it from there. Galactus, by eliminating the, stacked Prodigy location, not Prodigy, Jocasta location, by eliminating all other locations except one, you're getting rid of its go wide ability. Shou-Lao cannot go tall, and this deck answers that by saying I can go extremely tall in 2 locations with Manspire Taskmaster, or I can eliminate all your setup going on over here and just have everything limited to 1 location, which I'm definitely going to win. Now, quick explanation of both game plans. The Man Spider side of things, we've got Agony, we've got Penny Parker, we've got Man Spider himself with Symbiote Spider-Man. You're just trying to get a very big Man Spider, ramp with Luna Snow, and get your Man Spider up to ridiculous power, copy it with the Taskmaster. What you can do, and what can be very fun and still a bit unexpected depending on what levels of play you're at, is if you put Symbiote Spider-Man and then have Symbiote Spider-Man be alone in a location and then use Fallen One. If you Symbiote Spider-Man activate on Fallen One, you're going to go into the 6th turn of the game being able to play Man Spider Taskmaster on the same turn. If you've got an Agony set up in another location, you're going to get to extremely large amounts of power that your Shou-Lao opponent just really can't deal with in 2 locations. That's one side of the game plan. The other, and this is very fun. I'll admit I've gotten got by this, and it's like, oh, that was very clever. If you Symbiote Spider-Man and then play Galactus into Symbiote Spider-Man, leveraging your ramp with, let's say, Luna Snow. If you Symbiote Spider-Man, Galactus, and then merge Symbiote Spider-Man into Galactus and fail, for example, your opponent's going to be like, oh, great, I stopped their Galactus game plan. It's easy. They're going to let their guard down. What you're going to do on turn 6 is you have another location that's free for Galactus, nice and open. You fastball special the Galactus, and then Adamantium Infusion on the remaining open location to bring back a 26 power Galactus and just blow things up. It's a great surprise factor. The one thing with this list you have to worry about is Magic, but I think people over-exaggerate Magic's weakness to Merlin. A Merlin player is going to be extremely confident that, like, oh, I'm going to get them. I'm going to turn off the game on turn 6. It's like, yeah, I know. I'm going to play around that. Just don't. If you're playing against Merlin, just plan to end the game on turn 6. You're going to catch them off guard. So fantastic list. Great way of dealing with that red dragon of pain. Another list, and one near and dear to my heart, Cougar used this and just posted this on X. Make sure you go follow Cougar over on X and on Twitch. Fantastic player. He hit top 7 in the world with this list. This is classic Living Tribunal. Why does this do great into Shou-Lao? Similar logic for the other, the Galactus list. We're going over the top of them here. Shou-Lao puts out great power in 2 and sometimes 3 locations, depending on how it's popping off, but it cannot compete with what Living Tribunal's trying to do. Fundamentally, we are looking to cheat energy here with cards like Luna Snow and Wave, and then just stack Onslaught and Iron Man buffs in a location, or we could even go crazy with Mr. Fantastic, just boop, 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 popping off with stuff like Moonstone, Prodigy, and then either do the Living Tribunal game plan by saying, let's say we play Wave on 3, Sarah on 4, Onslaught on 5, Iron Man, and then Prodigy the Onslaught. That's a zillion power. You get down Living Tribunal, you dump whatever else you have, and Shou-Lao decks can't deal with that. They do have some tech, primarily in the way of Deafening Chord, but that's not hitting your Iron Man. That's not hitting your Sarah. That's where people running Deafening Chord over, what's his name? Red Guardian actually plays into your favor here because they just can't deal with cards that cost more than 3. Yeah, sure. Target my Luna Snow. You know, try to roll the 50-50 and hit my Ice Cube and just hit my Luna Snow and do nothing. It's a pretty favorable matchup. We're doing energy cheat stuff in here. And additionally, if you're not doing the Tribunal route, what you can still do is do Mr. Fantastic, Moonstone, Mystique, Prodigy stuff with Onslaught, and just, you lose the center location, but you're pumping out 150 power into your 2 side locations. Shou-Lao decks are very focused on doing their own game plan. They're effectively a combo list as well. It's a bit easier for them because they only have to, if they get Shou-Lao on turn 6, they're still doing something because typically you're not playing Shou-Lao to the very last turn of the game and buffing your Scarlet Spider. But in this case, we are fundamentally able to go over the top of them, and it's a pretty easy way of doing things. You have to just get used to these play lines. I definitely recommend you take this onto Conquest, practice it a little bit if you're not a Tribunal gamer. Whenever the meta is very focused on just doing points and it's limited interaction, this list does really well. One of the first times, if not the very first time, I hit top 500 post Infinite was the week that Human Torch First Steps came out. Everyone was focused on doing points buffy lists, and I just said, I'm going to zero in on this Living Tribunal list and just pop off from there. And it was incredible. This fundamentally does more points than any other list out there, and it's going to do the same for you. Last but certainly not least, I honestly can't believe we're talking about this, but Zombie Galacti is having a little bit of a moment here. In the most recent OTA, Zombie Galacti got buffed. Well, it's a buff, but I'll talk to you about, for me personally, why it feels like a little bit of a nerf. Just give me a second on that. So it got changed. So Zombie Galacti, it's opening text, choose 6 other characters in your deck. On reveal, transform those cards into copies of this. So it used to just say cards. Now that it says characters, you're not going to select. You can run skills safely. Skills typically when you play them, or almost always when you play them, will banish themselves. So if you hit your Majestic Wingbeat in theory as a Galacti card, it's like, oh great, I only get 5 bodies. In fact, and this was a fringe case, but I love doing this, if you were able to take the game to turn 7 or by turn 6, some way have 8 energy and Majestic Wingbeat was a Galacti card, if you played Zombie Galacti and then you played Majestic Wingbeat after it on the same turn, Zombie Galacti would turn Majestic Wingbeat into another Galacti card. I thought that was very funny. Nice 1-cost Galacti that you can surprise with on the same turn of the game. Granted, you could just do that with Chavez or Nico if she's not bugged, but that was a cool interaction that's no longer in the game, and I miss it a little bit. I miss it. But what this version of the list is doing is, because of that change, we can now run Deafening Chord, so we get our own form of interaction into Shou-Lao. Why does this beat Shou-Lao? Because its point potential can go over the top of it, and unlike the other 2 lists where it's like, hey, we're trying to just totally overwhelm, the floor is a little bit lower, but you have in my opinion, pretty clear snap and retreat lines, and it's also more difficult for your opponent to gauge how much power you're going to have. With the man spider stuff, they're going to be able to, okay, this is huge, I know I'm going to go. Tribunal, they're going to be able to tell, okay, they didn't draw Iron Man on turn 5, I've got them. They don't know how many times your Gwenpool hit your Galacti. Sure, they see your Maverick, but they don't know if Majestic Wingbeat hit it, if you are priming up Forge to hit it. There's a lot of hidden information here, and the consistency of this list has gotten as such that you're really only losing to draw RNG and location RNG. Sometimes you just get, you get screwed on locations and Magic can't correct you, or you can't rely on Magic because of Merlin, but it feels so consistent to be able to have your Maverick down, Gwenpool Zombie Galacti, and queue up a Forge Maverick onto Zombie Galacti. You're getting 18 power Galactis across whatever locations you need to contest. You can see they might have given up on something. Adam, Warlock feels very strong right now. And that's a sentence I almost never thought I'd say. It's a great time to be doing this stuff, and this is just yet another list that has a strong matchup into Shou-Lao and does not require the card itself. Those are my 3 lists. You can check the description for links to these deck codes right away. And if you want more in-depth deck guides, meta reports, card reviews that put a proper value on the tokens in your account, you're in the right place in the Kicker of Elves channel. Hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 1,500 subscribers, trying to join the Marvel Snap Creator Program, trying to monetize the channel, hitting all these goals. It's been like 2.5 months of making videos, and the positive response from y'all has been incredible. Check out the video below if you want a meta report on how things have been immediately following the chaos that has been Shou-Lao in the meta, with some deck recommendations. If you want to, let's say, join the chaos and play Shou-Lao, no judgment here. We're all trying to hit infinite or hit our goals. No shame on that. But all jokes aside, like the video, subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment. I reply or engage with every single comment as long as you're not being rude or outright trolling me. Much appreciated. Thanks for watching. I'm Kicker of Elves, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.